Hi students, welcome to our channel Physics Concepts by Ali sir. Then here we are going to discuss about basic mathematics about for JEE as well as NEET. This is the second part. In the first part we have discussed about algebra, and this is about the coordinate geometry. Then what we will discuss in this topic? Then we will discuss mainly about then first point, line, plane and space. Now let us see what is point. Point is the most fundamental concept. It denotes what it tells about. It point tells about the particular destination, position of the particle. So this tells about the position of a particle. How it denotes? It denotes generally with a capital letter. It denotes. What is an example? Then we can consider an example point A, point B, or whatever maybe that we can take. And it tells about what else? It tells about again. It has zero size. Zero size in sense it does not have no length, no breadth, no height, even no dimension. This is the basic information about the point. Again see, point is the fundamental concept in mathematics. What it tells about the position, more also we can say location of any one object. It denotes with a capital letter, and it expresses as quantity, point by order. It does not, it has zero size, means no length, no breadth, no height, even no dimension. Now let's discuss about line. What is this line? The line tells you about it is a combination of infinite points. So many points combined together, it forms a line, and indefinitely it travels. Indefinitely it travels the line, and it represents with any, if you are supposed to take any 2 points A and B, and those 2 points combined will take. And this one is, we can call it as one dimension. This is a one dimension. Now let us take this one. Once, what is this line? Line formed by infinite points. Infinite points it forms, and infinitely it travels. Infinitely it travels. And generally it can be represented. How can it be represented? It can be represented in this way. This is the representation. And what is an example we can take for this one? For example, if one object and then particle is traveling towards this side, AB, then we can call this one as a AB. And the most important one is, this is a line is a one dimension. Line is a one dimension. What is the meaning of one dimension? The meaning of one dimension is, it travels only in one particular direction. Only one particular direction. And one more thing is, it has at a time only one value can possible. 2 or 3 values cannot be possible. It can be possible only one. Only one value can be possible with the line. And this is a one dimension. And it can be, then what is one dimension in sense? It can be, we can take it as a x-axis or something else, whatever. And the third one, now let us take for this plane. What is meant by plane? The plane is, it is, then whereas it is there are 2 dimensions, is one dimension. A plane is, then it forms, then a plane is a 2 dimension. A plane is a 2 dimension. So then it can be, it has a two-dimensional sense, then it can be, then it can take it is an x-axis, and this can be y-axis. At a time, two values can be possible for this plane. It's what we can take this one. This is a flat surface. The plane in sense, it's a flat surface. Two dimension in sense which can take x and y axis we can take. And the space. Then what is the space tells you about? The space is about, this is a 3 dimension. 3 dimension. And here these 3 dimensions can be possible this direction and this direction. For convenience sake we are taking this is the 3rd dimension. Actually then it is not possible to draw like this. Then how can we, this is, if you suppose take this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and z-axis should be perpendicular to both x and y. We have to express like that, but we will show. For our convenience sake we are expressing like this. But actual representation should be like this. That's all about the basic concept. Basic concept about in the coordinate geometry. That's about a point, then line, plane, and even a space also. And take just a screenshot of this one. We will switch to the next topic. And here now let us go to the next topic. That is origin. What is meant by a origin? Origin and these are remaining all points we will discuss now. And what is a origin? Origin in sense then it is a fixed point from where all directions originate, means starts, originate. That is we are calling as origin. Generally it denotes with O. It is denotes with O letter. That is the origin. This is a fixed point. That is according to the convenient we can consider. But that point should be fixed. It is not changing. Next axis or axis. So then what is meant by axis? The line, a fixed line which is originating from the origin. A fixed line which is starting from the origin. That is we are calling as then axis. If two lines are traveling, then we can say those are axes, plural, axis and axis. Now let us, for example, in one dimension is there. In one dimension, what we can take in the one dimension? It has x-axis. Then it can be x-axis. So then it travels towards this side from the origin, which we are calling as x-axis. And two dimensions in sense, it is consisting of then x-axis as well as y-axis also, which is traveling from the origin. This side it is x-axis and this side we can take a y-axis, and here these two should be perpendicular, and so these two should be perpendicular. Those are originating from this one, from the origin. These two dimension we can express not only like this, and if this is we can take this one under way of expression. This is let us take O x-axis, and even we can express like this also. This one also we can take. Those both should be perpendicular. And one more way also we can take. And for example, we have taken any one point is origin, and so the x-axis is traveling towards this side, and exactly this should be then y-axis, and when we supposed to take this angle must be 90 degrees. In that way also we can express. And then now let's take the 3 dimension. In the 3 dimension, when we are taking, and it is consisting of 3 axes. 3 dimension consists of x-axis, y-axis, as well as even z axis also. And here these two axes must be perpendicular to one. This x axis, this y axis. Before we discussed, here we will take, if it is x axis, y axis, and we will take like this. So 3 should be, this z axis must be perpendicular to x as well as y as well as z. Those 3 should be perpendicular to 1 or each other. And if these 3 axes are, when they are perpendicular, we have a name for that system. That system name is called as Cartesian coordinate system or rectangular coordinate system. Then what is this one? Is a rectangular coordinate system. Rectangular coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate system. Which one is called when x, y, z are perpendicular to each. Perpendicular to each. Then we can say that is a coordinate system, rectangular coordinate system or a Cartesian coordinate system we can call. This is the basic concept about the horizon and the axis. Now let's discuss in detail about this coordinate system. Take a screenshot of this one. We will go for the next topic. Okay. Next topic we will discuss, that is about a coordinate system. In the coordinate system, now when we suppose, right? Now we are going to discuss about the rectangular coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate system. A rectangular coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate system can be expressed like this, and where it is called as the first quadrant, and this is the second quadrant, and this is third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. Now let us take the sign convention, and what we can take, this is x axis, y axis. Now let us take the sign convention for this. The sign convention we can follow. How the sign convention is, in the first coordinate x axis is positive, and even y coordinate also we can take the positive. And the second coordinate and x can be negative and y coordinate can be positive. In the third coordinate, and both are negative. And in the fourth coordinate, then this is a x coordinate is a positive and y coordinate is a negative. These values we can take for this. And see here in this, one more very important thing is, once when you are taking the angles, then a positive angle should be taken in an anti-clockwise direction. A negative angle should be taken in the clockwise direction. And one more part also, this is the sign convention. Now let us take, if it is consisting of any coordinates are there. For example, now let us take some basic formula about this one. Basic formula we will discuss about this. What are those basic formula is? Now let us take, then this is just coordinate system, and at this coordinate system, and here is a P point is there with the coordinates of x1, y1, and here this is the Q coordinate, Q point at with the x2, y2 coordinates, and R, that is a x3, y3, and S, that is a x4, y4. And this is an x-axis, horizon, and y-axis. Now let us take some formulas based on this one. Then the distance between P and Q is, distance between P and Q. distance between P and Q can be taken. What's the formula we can take for distance between P and Q is, that is square root of then x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. That is the distance x2 minus x1 whole square, y2 minus y1 whole square. Then next one is distance between O and P, O and P. Then what are the coordinates of O? The coordinates of O we can consider as a 0 and 0. So then what will happen? That is, now we are going for a P, right? And so that what we can take, that is x1 minus 0 whole square, that is under square root, plus y1 minus 0 whole square, that we can take, that we can consider as a square root of x1 square plus y1 square. This is one basic concept. And the third one we can go for, that one is distance between the average distance between what we can take, that the average distance between yes, the average between P and Q, the average distance for the average between P and Q can be taken. The average between P and Q, the average midpoint between P and Q can be considered as x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2, that we can take midpoint. And in between these two, wherever the midpoint is there, that point can be considered as x1 plus the average of the x coordinates, the average of y coordinates we can take. In that way, just we can take the average of these points. And that is the basic sign convention, and again the rules what we are taking for this. Next, now let us start drawing the graphs. Now take a screenshot of this one and we will discuss for the next concept. Okay, and next one is, now let's go with the concept of graphs. The more we just became the most important part of the coordinate geometry, that is graphs. Then what the graphs tells you is, the first one is when we are discussing about the graph, now let us discuss about the slope, or also we can call it as a gradient. Then it represents the letter of M. How can you find out a slope? Then different methods are there to measure the slope, and the first one we can take for this one is, then the simple formula to find out the just slope is, it represents with M, and once when it is originating from one line, the angle is theta. One basic formula for slope M is, then that is tan theta. M is equal to tan theta we can consider. Tan angle equal to slope. Tan angle is a slope. This is a one situation. In another situation, now let us take the next case. If the object is, and so here is x-axis, y-axis and origin, and one ray is traveling from the origin, and on this origin 2 points are there. What are those 2 points? P is x1, y1 and Q is x2, y2. We have to find out the slope for these 2 points. How can you find out the slope is? And here whatever the angle is present, then here also, then we can take the same angle. And here the slope M is, we have different formulas are there. Then one formula we can take, rise by run. Rise by run also we can say. What is meant by rise? Then rise in sense, in the y-axis how much is rising and how much is going in the x-axis. Then that also we can take change in y-axis. Change in y-axis by change in x-axis. X-axis we can call it as the slope. And how can we take this one? M is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. M is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. That also we can say that is delta y by delta x. Whereas delta, this is the symbol of delta, which is equal to, in physics we are using for a change. Change in y-axis to change in x-axis, that gives you the slope. Is it clear? And if any type of graphs are given, then we can find out the slope values. Next case is, now let's go for the remaining graphs. If y is equal to mx, what do we call this? Linear expression. Then what the graph we can get for this one is, for y is equal to mx, the graph can be followed. So then also this is an x-axis, y-axis and horizon, and here this can also we can take it as y is directly proportional to x. Linear expression, the powers are only one is there, that we are calling as a linear expression. For this one, the graph will be then originating from this side. This is the most important expression. If y is directly proportional to x, the graph will originate from the horizon and it goes straight. And the second case, if any interception is there, any interception like C, then the graph will be followed like this. The graph, this is a x-axis, this is y-axis, and so that we can take, and this is a horizon, and this is we are calling as a interception, that is a C. Then what about the slope for this one? The slope, generally the angle we can mention like this. This is the theta angle, what we can take. So the slope can be considered. For y is equal to mx plus c, the graph will be like this. The remaining cases also we will see that. And if next case, and the different cases, next case, now let us take, for y is equal to mx, whereas m value is less than 0 and theta is greater than 90. What graph we will get? The graph will be taken like this. What the graph is, and this is a x-axis, y-axis. What is the condition is given? Theta is greater than 90, and so that we can take the graph will be this will be the graph for that. The graph can be considered like that. And here very important thing is we have to consider positive angle should be taken in a clockwise direction. So there is a, then I will so this is m is equal to tan theta, you take that, and a positive value, this one I will write here, and for this one positive angle should be anti-clockwise. Opposite, that is a negative angle in sense clockwise. In the trigonometry we will discuss more extensively about that. And here we are considering about more about the greater than theta angle 9 degrees. So the positive values can be possible, and so the graph can be possible. For this same situation we can get one more graph, and for this same case y is equal to mx, where m is less than 0 and theta is greater than 90. The graph, one more graph also can be possible. This is the graph what we can take, and this is the angle what we can take. This graph too we can consider for the same. For y is equal to mx, m is less than 0 and theta is greater than 90. For this situation also we can take the same graph. Is it okay? Once again I will explain. You see the slope or gradient. Slope or gradient generally then represents with m. The first basic form for the gradient or slope is m is equal to tan theta. Tan of angle equal to the slope. And here basic formula to find out the slope is m is equal to tan theta, and the line which is originating from the axis which makes with x axis, whatever the angle it is, just making with x axis, that we can be considered as the slope. And general upwards. Now let us go for the next one is, if a line is originating from the origin, and again it is consisting of 2 points at P and Q, and consisting of coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. In such a case, the slope will be rise by run. Rise in sense, increase in the y-axis, means change in the y-axis, to change in the x-axis. That gives you the formula for the slope. So m is equal to rise by run, and change in y-axis by change in x-axis. That is equal to y2 minus y1 delta y by delta x. Delta is a Greek letter which represents about the change. And afterwards, then we can take y is equal to mx. Generally, here is this is the most fundamental concept, very important also. Y is equal to mx. Then that is also we can take, if m is considered as constant, then y is directly proportional to x. In such case, the graph will come like this. When any intersection is there, then the graph will be y is equal to mx plus c, and so the graph will follow like this, as intersection can be expressed like this. In the next situation, y is equal to mx, whereas m is less than 0 and theta is greater than 90. In those two cases, the graph will come like this. Okay, right? And this part completed, and this is still then next continuity will go and take a screenshot, and next we will go for the next continuity. Completed, right? And the next one is there that we can discuss about the next graph, where that x is having an intersection and even y2 have an intersection. Then how the graph will be? The graph will be if x by a, next graph we will go for graph for x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. What graph will you get for this one? And here the graph will be like this. And here this is a x-axis, this is a y-axis. Here is a intersection and here is a b intersection. These values. For this one, the graph will come like this. X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. What we can take for this. Okay, now right. And this is about the graph about this one. And the next concept, now let us take the equations. Then if y is equal to 1 by x, what type of graph we will get? Y is equal to 1 by x, or y is equal to 1 by x square. Then what graph we will get? Then we will get a graph like this. And then you will get this is x-axis and y-axis. Then you will get one hyperbola on first quadrant, or then you will get then hyperbola even in the third quadrant. So either this graph or this graph, both you should not mix. And so let us talk one more. Or this graph can be possible, or what graph can be possible is, and this graph also can be possible in the first quadrant or the second quadrant. What it is that? The shape of this one we can call it as a hyperbola. So here is a hyperbola can be possible for y is equal to 1 by x or y is equal to 1 by x square. That hyperbola can be possible. And now let us take if y is equal to minus 1 by x or y is equal to minus 1 by x square. And in such case, then what will happen? The same graph will comes, only changes here in case of a positive, and the first quadrant and third quadrants are coming, and for this one the second and the fourth quadrants the graphs can be possible. And so what graph will be for y is equal to minus 1 by x or y is equal to minus 1 by x square? Now let us see. And then here is there will be possibilities, and to get one hyperbola here, or then we can get a hyperbola and at here. So this is a x-axis and this is a y-axis. So that is we will get for y is equal to 1 by x or y is equal to 1 by x square, and this we can consider as y is equal to this, we have to take like this, y is equal to 1 by x or y is equal to 1 by x square. So the relation can be taken, that is the graphs will get a hyperbola. And if y is equal to x square, y is equal to x square, quadratic equations, then what graph will we get? Y is equal to x square, in the sense this is for quadratic equations. For quadratic equations, then you will get a parabola. What graph will get? Parabola graph will get. Then for this one what you will get? And a graph you will get x-axis, y-axis. And a graph you will get for the quadratic equations, that can be basically a parabola, and we can get like this. It is for y is equal to x square. If y is equal to minus x square, then in such a case what graph you will get? You will get a graph of like this. That you will get for y is equal to minus x square. And if this is x is equal to y square, x is equal to y square, in such case what graph will you get? Then you will get a graph of, so this is the graph what we are getting for x is equal to y square. For x is equal to minus y square, x is equal to minus y square, then the graph what you will get is, you will get a reverse graph. Okay, right? These are about the graphs what we are getting for quadratic equations, and that is in case of quadratic equations we will get a parabolic, and in case of then this y is equal to 1 by x and y is equal to 1 by x square, we will get a hyperbola. And take a screenshot of this one, we will go for the next concept. Okay, completed. Now let's go for the next one more graph is there. That graph we will go with that. And here is then standard equation for a standard equation for ellipse is what standard equation for ellipses? X square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. For this one, how the graph can be possible? The graph can be possible like this. And x-axis consider y-axis. And here then 0. A 0, 1 intercept. And here 0, b, and then intercept. And here minus a 0, and here 0 minus b. These all intercepts once when we are adding, we will get an ellipse. This is the graph for ellipse. Graph for ellipse is this will be the equation, and the ellipse graph can be just we can get like this. The next, the most important one is, and the graphs for the sine and sine graph. If y is equal to sine x, what graph you will get? Then remember these are things. Few things has to be the practice. It comes by practice. If y is equal to sine x, then the graph will be oscillates like this. Y is equal to sine x. So here this is 0, this is pi by 2, and pi 3 pi by 2, and here 2 pi. Means this graph will be repeated after 2 pi. After 2 pi. This is for y is equal to sine x. If y is equal to minus sine x, y is equal to minus sin x. What graph will we get? We will get the graph like this. And the graph will come, so this is a positive value and so this is a negative value. And so this is a positive now, that is why the graph is coming from the first quadrant. So then if the graph is y is equal to minus now, then the graph will becomes like this. Then we can consider x-axis, y-axis and x-axis, y-axis. The values when we are taking right from here, and here is a 0 and this is a pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. So the graph will start rotating again right from there. That is for y is equal to minus mx. If y is equal to cos x, what graph we will get? And here it's a little bit of focus. And the graph will be followed like this. The graph will start right from here. So the graph becomes like this. Y is equal to sin x. This is the graph what it is coming. What did you notice right from it is here starting from. And so here is a then pi by 2 and this is a pi, this is a 3 pi by 2 and this is a this point we can take. That is a 2 pi. And so the graph again will start right from here. From here to here it will be 2 pi. Then if it is y is equal to minus cos x. Y is equal to minus cos x. Once when y is equal to minus cos x, then what will happens now? The graph will comes right. In this way the graph will starts. Okay. And this is generally will happen x-axis and y-axis, and again 0 and this is a pi by 2 and this comes a pi and this comes a 3 pi by 2 and here is a pi. Right from here 2 pi and right from here again the graph will start. Got it? And these all things about the y sin x, y cos x. So what is the difference to notice? When once for the sin x, the graph is starting from the origin for positive sin x. For negative sin x, that is coming from the fourth quadrant. But in case of this one, y is equal to cos x, in sense the before touching to the 0, it is completed a half cycle. So 1/4 cycle it has been, and it is continuously rotating. It is repeats by 2 pi. Okay.